Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never met me before, I am Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. I wish I could say it was either or today. I didn't leave my apartment today, in all honesty. But at the same time, I can't say that I was holding on too much when it comes to taking in lessons, right? Working on the inside, making that little bit of movement for myself. And it is my intent to come in here tonight and actually have something that might hit somebody, if for nobody else, myself. Because if you guys haven't been with me before, you know I come into each and every one of my lives myself and I take those lessons in. It's important for me to be my own student. I absorbed so much comes at me, so much comes across my path. I take in so many different perspectives. I sit here during the day or I piddle around the apartment and I'm in contemplation. But as fast as things come to me, right, they don't always stick in the moment. I believe that they're like little walking closets going on in there, and things are constantly getting stored. And I am consistently surprised and delighted in actuality when I come in for my lives myself. Right after my live, I do my thumbnail, I go in and I take the lesson for myself. And you guys know sometimes I go off for over an hour. And by the end of my lives, because I do put a little bit of that love and attention and energy into my lives, right? Even if it is in layman's and it's not perfectly set up, it's not all neat and tidy, finished off with a bow. It is full of intent to bring something to the table. And like I said, I come into my lives and I'm not in any way tooting my own horn because I know I can do a whole lot better than what I am bringing to the table. But it is in showing up. It is in putting one foot in front of another. It is in coming in and sitting in for an extra hour at the end of my lives and taking in those lessons for myself. And I have done so much movement when it comes to course correcting, when it comes to, oh my goodness, I never thought of that. I never told that story before. Really kind of neat how it showed up in the live tonight. And inconsistency in the patterning, how I picked up and said certain phrases numerous times over. Or, oh, I haven't seen so and so in the live for so long. And wasn't it amazing that they showed up tonight? And I was able to give a little bit of, I don't know, sunshine, a little bit of consideration, a little bit of good cheer to somebody that does take that time, even if it's on occasion, to come in and spend a few minutes with me. I also understand that there are people in the background, that there are people who don't come to the forefront for whatever reason, right? For what it could be numerous reasons, right? Lots of people, they are private. Lots of people are not social, right? They spend a lot of time on their own. They don't know how to step into a conversation, right? It's amazing. I can see you in the background. I don't know who you are, but I know you're there. And it's always appreciated. And if I don't send you good cheer and take that moment to take that 1 second sometimes just to take it into consideration, just to take notice, just to send some good cheer to those that are in the background because they are also in here adding their attention, their time, right? Their energy and their care into what's going on with me. And I am consistently, right, amazed, dazzled, and amazed that people do that, right? I love the care. I really do love the care, right? The attention sometimes, and you guys know whether it's 10 people in here, 20 people in here, or I'm in here by myself, right? My lives get the same amount of attention, the same amount of care, because I understand this is just as much for me as it is for anybody else out there. And that's the truth. You guys, I did not do much today. And like I said, I could not hold on to anything, right? Nothing seemed to take my interest today, right? Nothing. And there are so many things. I'm looking at dust on my ornaments, right? I'm looking at great posts, great thumbnails, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've got to take a moment and delve into that, right? Because just as much as you take your care to come in and spend a few minutes with me, I do the same with the people that have helped me so much in getting to where I am in this moment. And where am I in this moment? Who's to say, right? Who's to say? Because it could hit for anybody or nobody at any moment. And that's the beauty of just coming in with a cup of coffee and having a conversation and just seeing where it hits, just seeing where it leads us, where it's needed, because at any moment the need could change. I'm looking out my window now, finally, that fire engines and the ambulances here been here like so many times today, like, and they were bagging up all their gear that they didn't want to leave it in. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like I woke up today with a little bit of a sneezing going on. I'm thinking, oh Cindy, are you catching a cold? And then I'm looking at paramedics and fire engines out there being all special care when it comes to, making sure that their clothing and their boots and the things that they handled are all placed in plastic bags and all tightly tied up and stuff. And right, it does concern me, right? Because I do send that good cheer to the people that share the same residence as I do. There are over 200 apartments in this building that I live in. And in this building, there are a lot of seniors, there are a lot of vulnerables. And, it's sad because in that care that we give to each other, we always know when something goes astray, where something goes wrong, where somebody may have passed away or ended up in the hospital. I didn't see anybody get taken away. So hopefully everything was taken care of good and they're resting well in the moment. Or in that little bit of good cheer, right? They knocked on that door, turned around, and headed back to the station. But the evidence says differently, doesn't it? The evidence says differently. So I am a realist. And it's to each one of us to take care of ourselves. Melvin! Oh my goodness, I haven't seen Melvin forever. Got the windshield wipers arms replaced for free on warranty. It gave you some good cheer, right? Nothing like the feeling of getting something for nothing, right? That is a good feeling, especially when you feel like you're going to be parting with some money, right? That money, right? I'm not saying that this is the case, but that money could have been the milk on your kids' cereal, right? Or lunch money for school, right? It could be your bus fare to get to work. And right now you had to divvy it out and you have to walk to work, right? But nothing like getting something for nothing. And that's the truth. I've been helping my nephew out, right? He's building computers and stuff, and I am the queen of wires, right? When I buy stuff, that always comes with wires and doodads. I don't know what any of it's for, right? But I keep it just in case something goes wrong, and I've got to replace a wire. Then I know I've got my wire bags and I can go through it and replace it. But my nephew building these computers, he's been coming down and right and perfectly. I want them to go to good use. So he's grabbing what he needs. He's waiting for things for Amazon and stuff, but in the meantime, he's way ahead, right? He's one of those guys that wants to get things done yesterday. And so I'm happy to help him, and he's been helping himself, and he ran out of water, and so I'm running up bottled water. He lives in the same building as I do, right? And so I've been helping him out a little bit, but I'm his aunt, right? So if I have it, it's no skin over off my back, and I'm happy to give that to him, right? Especially when I'm looking to provide a little bit of service and I'm kind of feeling useless and kind of, right, don't know what to be doing, knowing that I should be making some movement and stuff. I'm happy, more than happy to help out. But yesterday I came home and I left my phone here and I looked at my phone messages and I went, oh my goodness, he needs a wire, right? So I dug through my wire bag and I found the wire that he was looking for, and he said he would come down and pick it up, but I know he's working, right? He works at home and he can't really get away from his apartment, otherwise he's going to miss clients, right? Because it's online work that he does and he's supposed to stay home during his hours of employment. So I ran it up to him and I just knocked on the door. He opened up the door. I handed it to him. I know he's working, so I just turned around and I started walking down the hallway and he goes, Cindy, wait, wait, wait. I was totally cashed out, right? And I needed eggs. I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm all out of eggs. I got no eggs, right? And I was all cashed out. And he turns around, he says, get back here. And I went back there and he handed me $20. He says, thank you so much, Cindy, for all the help that you've been giving me this week. It just came out so handy dandy. I says, you have no idea how handy dandy this $20 is to me today. I didn't say what it was for or anything, right? And I gave him a hug and I left and I was just thrilled. I says, I get provided for, right? I need eggs. I got eggs now. And I ran off to the grocery store and I bought a few things and I was just perfectly thrilled with that. I was perfectly thrilled with that. And at the same time, he's doing a kindness for me. I'm doing a kindness for him. We're family. We would do those kindnesses anyway. But it's nice how things work out. But yeah, I'm glad. And I'm not saying that because it was something for nothing, but it felt to me because I would have done it for nothing, right? And it was just kind of like a little bonus that came across my path. Like, right, I got an extra $20 and ran off to the grocery store and got what I needed, and I was all set for a couple of days, right? until I need something else. But things always work out for me. They truly do. I'm not living the high life. I'm not. But there are people out there who are destitute, that don't have a roof over their head, that don't have groceries in the cupboard. They have bills that they've got to pay for, right? And they don't have that privilege of friends and family and resources to get these things done. So, in saying that, I'm just going to throw out a little bit of gratefuls in that, right? It's amazing when you get something for nothing, right? Just say, thank you very much. More, please. Okay, you guys. We're going to pull a card. Fridays, I usually keep it pretty light. I call it my day off, that work day. Not that I consider this like work at all. I'm actually happy to be here. I always look forward to coming into my lives. But at the same time, I didn't do anything today. I did absolutely nothing. The house was clean, the chores are done, right? I got my eggs, and there were things that I could have. Oh, I did. I've been looking at RVs. I've been watching RV reviews, kind of putting together what I would like if I were to buy an RV. Right? You never know what comes across your path. If I were to buy an RV, what would I want? What would be the most important features in an RV? And yeah, I've got a little list of things. And I'm glad that I'm doing these reviews because I'm getting to learn so much about trailers and RVs and RV living. And it's, if you guys don't know, it's kind of like what I want to do in my retirement years is I want to be on the road. I want to be living in provincial parks. I want to be as close to Mother Nature as I can possibly can be, because it what makes me happy, right? It makes me feel that I have a beautiful life. I have a beautiful life. We don't always appreciate our beautiful lives because everything is so hairy, scary, and up in the air sometimes that we don't take into consideration the actual gifts that are out there. But for myself, oh my goodness, the feelings that I get when I connect with Mother Nature, I think the language of communication with nature has been lost, right, for thousands of years, maybe in small circles, right? There are people out there that still practice some of these Celtic traditions, right? The gypsies, the people who appreciate the different, well, I guess fairies, right? The mythologies, they're all connected with Mother Nature. But because I don't dabble in those, I don't know, are they religions, cultures, traditions? We'll call them traditions because I don't dabble in those traditions. I do not understand the language, the literal language of the trees, right? Of the birds, of the wind, the dirt in the ground, the mushrooms, the grass, the river. I could just go on and on forever. The only ones I do understand are the squirrels and the chickadees when I am out there in Mother Nature. But I know that it is ancient. And I know that at one time there was a language that was understood between humans and nature. And even if we have forgotten that language, even if I have forgotten that language, nature still knows how to communicate with those other parts of me. And at the same time, in communicating with those other parts of me, it's communicating with me because I know my system. Like like the back of my hand, I know my system and what it does for me, how it makes me feel, right? And if it didn't make me feel that way, right? What crazy bird would want to have the RV life all by herself, out in Mother Nature, to live in provincial parks? Oh my goodness, to go off to different parts of the world and dig for crystals and to live that outdoor life that it really does make me feel amazing. And even if I have forgotten, Cindy never knew the language, but right, there are parts of me that I believe really does understand that language. And if I'm lost at any moment, if I'm not able to connect, and this is the idea that I get out, I said that today, and I said, I just can't connect with anything today. I'm not making any, I make movement every single day. Thank goodness for these live shows, right? Or I wouldn't be making that movement. But, and I have to take that into consideration when I say I didn't do anything today, right? Because this is my movement. This is what I give back to the world. And this is great information to people who are lost, who don't know what to do in the moment, right? There are lots of people, they say, I don't have time for Mother Nature. I'm in a wheelchair, or I'm taking care of my sister's kids. Numerous reasons. I work two jobs. I just don't have time for it. Can you go to bed at night with your bedroom window open? Can you sit at the kitchen table with your window open? Can you sit out in the backyard for 15 minutes? When you're walking to work, can you put your hand on a tree? Can you appreciate the breeze in your face or the rain falling on your head? Right? We don't think of these things. We don't think of these things, right? There are lots of reasons why people don't have an opportunity to connect with Mother Nature, but there's always a way, right? If you knew there was a benefit, if you knew that there was something free in it for you, right? Just like Melvin getting his free windshield wipers today off his warranty, that you are getting a gift. You're getting some energy. You might be getting that next step because, right, even though we've lost that language to communicate with the trees have not lost the ability to communicate with us, right? That they know, right? They're the most ancient things on this planet, right? Nature is the oldest thing, right? And I can see why these different traditional ideas are in place, right? Because they have been around forever and they have stepped into, or it's come across their path, or they've discovered for themselves, just like I did, that connection, right? That connection to something absolutely amazing that has brought so much into my life, including this channel, because none of this would have happened if I hadn't happened onto the idea to film my adventures, to share my adventures. I would never even have gotten to this point in my own life, in my own understandings, without that one understanding. And look at, I wasn't thinking about RV retirement 10 years ago. It wasn't even a thought. Wasn't even a, it was nothing, right? And now I have these dreams, these goals, and it might not ever manifest in my life. It might not. But I'm putting one foot in front of the other. And in that process, I'm learning so much. Who's to say that I can't go to an RV lot and get a job just from all that I have learned in the process, right? And then just add on all those other talents in customer service and in hospitality, right? And be able to pay for those trips that I take in September. Every single year, I take these trips. And I don't know how these trips are going to manifest in my life. I have no clue. It seems like an impossibility in the moment. But because those other parts of me look forward to those trips just as much as I love those trips, somehow they happen. Sometimes, right? Somehow. I have no idea how they happen. But I think it's in that little bit of teamwork between me, those other parts of me, and Mother Nature being the mediator in what I don't understand in the moment. I hope that makes a little bit of sense for somebody. So if you are lost in the moment, if you don't have a clue as to what to do with your life, if you have problems and issues like, oh my goodness, go to the park and sit on a bench and just talk to the trees, talk to the breeze, talk to the beautiful blue sky and whatever landscape you're looking at in the moment. And I can guarantee you, at the very least, you are going to feel so amazing when you get off of that bench 100%. And wouldn't it be amazing if you got something and you could say, just like Melvin did, that he got something for free because it just appeared in your life at the most perfect moment when you couldn't afford it, when you didn't think there was a possibility, that you thought things were crashing around in your life, that you didn't have a clue what the next step was supposed to be. And the next thing you know, right, you're moving forward again. And I said that to myself, Cindy, you're getting outside tomorrow. I try to get outside every single day, even if it's just for a 15-minute walk or 20-minute walk to the grocery store or something. Like I try to get out all the time. But as of late, right? And it's not like it's not like I'm disillusioned or sad or depressed. I'm just a little bit at a loss as to what the next direction is. But if you guys set into my conversations, we actually talked about this last week. You don't have to know what direction you're supposed to be going in. You're just supposed to put one foot in front of another and just get going, right? Because if you're not getting going, if you're not putting one foot in front of the other, there's zero possibilities that you're going to know what that direction is going to be. At least if you're moving, right? You're moving towards something. You're going to bump into somebody and have a conversation. Events are going to come into your realm, right? Experiences, help, insight. You have no idea. I have no idea. But I do know it works. I do know it works. I know. You might think I'm a silly girl, but try it out for yourself. You don't have to know how it works. You don't have to know how that language works, right? But you'll recognize it when it does, only because we talked about it tonight. Give it a shot, you guys. Go for a walk tomorrow. And if you don't have that time, get up in the morning and sit at the kitchen table and open up that window, right? Sit there and appreciate. I love my big picture window. I could sit here all day and look at the clouds and look at the buildings and watch the birds and look at the buds come out on the trees. You guys, finally the buds are on the trees, right? Another few weeks they will be leaves. And how exciting will that be, right? Just more nature for me to, right? To keep me going, the breadcrumbs, right? The breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel, right? And you'll find the direction that you're supposed to be going into, not the oven at the gingerbread house, but in whatever direction that you're meant to be going into, even if you don't know where in the moment you're supposed to be heading, right? Just get going, just one foot in front of another, and soon enough, you'll have a direction. It might not be forever. There might be a fork in the road. More than likely, there'll be a fork in the road. And you'll go, oh, which way do I want to go? Doesn't matter. Put one foot in front of the other. Which one has the prettiest flowers, right? Which one has the nicest landscape? What one has what you are looking for, not looking for? Because some of us like those trails with lots of people where we can stop and chit chat. Sometimes we're in that mood to have the trail all for ourselves, just so we can appreciate the silence and the company of just us and Mother Nature, right? And it can change, it can be both, right? It can be, but you don't know until you start moving. Okay, you guys, we're just going to get into a card. 54 powerful words. This is my deck. It took me about a year to put it together. Uh, I picked each word. I had about 100 words. I put them in a jar. I picked a different word every week. Every day of that week, I came in live and we looked at each one of these words in a different perspective, right? And we just flew with the first thing that came with my mind, and it was a practice. It's still in that practice, but somehow it always seems to add something, right? And it adds to my life constantly. I pull a card after my live show just to get a little bit of insight, right? And it always seems to contribute a little bit of something, if nothing else, a direction. Okay, you guys, let's grab a card. First perspective, first thing that comes to my mind, we're just going to, we'll grab the front card today. Oh my goodness, we haven't had this card for a while. Thumbnail. We haven't had this card for a while. There was a while back there where I pulled this card 5 times in a matter of, 5 times in 7 days, but I'm only in this live show 5 days. So we're just going to say 9 days, right? In 9 days, I pulled this card 5 times. And I have 54 powerful words here. I have words here. Since I made the deck, I have not pulled again. And yet, some of these cards consistently show up. You know, community offers up a sense of belonging. Sometimes it's pertinent to the conversation. So, the first thing that comes to my mind is my community of Mother Nature, right? It makes me feel like I belong. When I'm lost, that I know that I can sit and connect and I can make a bad day better. I can walk away and have insights and ideas and a little bit of direction. I can feel like I'm not in it all by myself. And for lots of us, right? If you're anything like me, and I don't think so, we're all uniques. We're all uniques, but we have traits of each other, don't we? Right? And hopefully that we have values that kind of move along in a way that makes it so that we can appreciate each other. But that's what community is. That's who you want to hang out with. And, I am a little bit of a lone wolf. I recognize that. I've always been that way, right? And it's funny because I've always worked, like I said, in hospitality and in customer service, which is a very non-introverted kind of profession, isn't it? But it was out of that need to put a roof over my head. It was the job that was being offered to me, right? And I was good at it. I wasn't in the beginning, but again, it's putting one foot in front of another, and then you get that direction, and that direction always led me into hospitality, and it always led me into customer service, and it served me so well because it offered up skills that made it possible for me to even be here right now, right? And being that person who enjoyed time on their own. That was kind of a little bit standoffish. Remember what I said? There are lots of reasons why people don't come into the lives, and they're in the background, right? They're listening and watching and doing their own thing, and that is always appreciated. Doesn't make them any less my community as anybody else, because we are all different. We are all made up differently, right? When I go in and I sit in some of my favorite content creators, right? They don't know that I'm there. I give them my thumbs up, right? But I'm not in the conversations. And unless it's top notch, I am not making a comment. I'm not, right? It's like the Academy Award kind of stuff. That's the stuff that I'm really, right? But it doesn't make me any less part of their community, because when I leave, I'm leaving some good cheer behind. I'm leaving that thankful and gratefulness in that, right? And that's the truth. And just like those jobs that I had, right? I had to build the skills in that because that wasn't my nature. My nature was being alone in nature, being on my own. And it offered up an opportunity for me to truly connect, to recognize that I am part of the greater community of this world, and I belong here just as much as anybody else does, just like anybody else out in the world. If they feel that they don't belong, right? That they feel that they're a lone wolf, that they're introverted, they're shy, that they have no friends. We all have something to contribute. And like I said, it's just a matter of putting one foot in front of another. Just put one foot in front of another, and you'd be totally amazed at what comes across your path. And if you're introverted and shy, that's going to be a little bit scary, right? You can always start with, what a beautiful day. Look at the blue sky. Smell spring in the air, right? And connect through Mother Nature in that way, right? Okay, you guys. It's Friday. I won't be back until Sunday night. I have another live show that I do once a week on Sunday, Chatters Live. I call it Chatters Live because I do have a great crew over there, dedicated crew that have been with me and been a part of my community Oh, most of them for like 10 years. If you would like to come in, if you would like to be enveloped, right? Right? You're more than welcome to. If you want to come in and just hang out in the background, right? Give me a thumbs up. It helps me with my algorithm, right? That would be appreciated too, right? I know you're there, and I'm sending everybody out there a little bit of good cheer. And if you need a lot, you take a lot because I'm offering it because I didn't get too much done today. 100%. Yeah, if you can find a way to connect with Mother Nature when you're a little bit of loss for what to do next, that would be a really good suggestion. Yeah, come back to me and let me know how it worked out for you. You guys have a good cheer, right? We'll see you on Monday if you don't pop in on Sunday. And I hope you have a great weekend.